sky is serene. The hazy days impart a nothingness to the gently rolling land. The fields of soybeans are a deep, rich green. This is the picture you'd see if you traveled with me in Huron County. It's a picture you'll see again if you travel down the network of roads that traverse this county by the lake. You look at a map, and it is flat, physically and mentally, suggesting nothing but the mapmaker's art. But you can also see pinpointed throughout the county a new experiment in rural living, an experiment on wheels. It speaks to farm forums, it speaks to schools, to the home and the church. You can see them rise, these pinpoints, one by one against the backdrop of towns and villages. And they suddenly become alive, alive with a sense of mobility. For it is here that the library service truck makes its rounds. This library movement in Huron County started in 1941 with a cooperative movement among the libraries in the county. It grew quickly until 1947, when the Public Libraries Act was revised to include county libraries, and the direct jurisdiction and responsibility going to the county council. That is why today, Huron people are very conscious of their libraries and their services. From Amberley on the north to Grand Bend on the south, and from Fordwich to Goderich, the industrious 48,000 people have their libraries as a leading factor and driving force in their efforts to make the county still a better place in which to live. These are the books we wish to talk about. Mr. and Mrs. Glenn Eckmeyer, in charge of this service in Huron, have worked hard, as you will see, to make this library on wheels work. And their daughter Gwenda, too, is taking more than a passing interest in the work. It is more than an experiment, really, because the routine has been established and the work is now going forward. Shelves upon shelves of books must be marked, numbered, and cataloged before the real job begins. It takes a hearty spirit born of the love of people and of good things to read. It's more than that, too. It's a pasting of pockets in the books to hold the sturdy cards, numbers in front and back as cross-indexed, books being processed for circulation. It is very necessary that complete circulation records be kept, and these steps assist local librarians in doing so. It is also the typing and filing of much data, work done by loving hands and with loving care. It's almost as great as writing a book itself. It is the writing of a book, another chapter in the history of Huron. This is the beginning. The truck is shiny and new, a one-ton chassis in a standard model with a body built up over the engine, giving more room for storage. The county council comes out to see their new library on wheels, and the deal is closed. The examination then starts, with the councilors noting the truck first. The neat arrangement of the shelves, the wide aisle making it easier to browse around. All in all, this certainly meets the approval of the council. The Eckmeyers like their new acquisition too. They're proud of it because it means good public relations and good advertising. It also means good books to every part of the county. It is a method of reaching the maximum number of people at the least expenditure. And even the councilors who came late, hurrying along to see this truck, will be able to see it at a distance, shining like new snow. This is the source, the home of the library on wheels. These are cramped, temporary headquarters until the proposed new county building is built, giving headquarters more room in which to live and breathe. You can see that this nerve center of the new library scheme needs all the room it can get to expand.
There are stacks and stacks of good reading material leaving this house continually. And then comes the placing in the proper order for easy selection by the librarians in each town. And so the books are on their way to the farthest corners of the county, and the Operation Books has begun. It's a pretty ride through Huron County from Goderich to Clinton, even when the snow is thick on the ground. And typical of all Huron's favorite towns and hamlets is Clinton, a converging of two main highways. But this doesn't account for the bustling scene completely. It is more the nature of the people themselves, prosperous folk who enjoy the fruits of their labors. And it seems to be good business. The town of Clinton, one of Huron's fairest, is also the location of the Huron County Home, and books are a great source of pride and entertainment for the inmates. These people welcome the sight of their snub-nosed library, for books are left with them, books on all subjects. Shelves and shelves of books to make the long hours brighter. For a good book is a good companion for whatever mood and thought we have. It is a messenger on wheels, bringing to people of all ages the calm serenity of a true and trusted friend. Goderich is the exemplification of the county. Here industries, such as the Goderich Salt, opens the floodgates of commerce, while the friendly people stay close to the good earth they know so well. And good books are giving them an ever-keen understanding of their heritage, of the common beliefs of men. It is being strengthened by this background of good mental materials. It is also strengthened by its fine port, where in the winter days the ice-cutting operation is real big news. This operation is to clear the harbor of ice so that the grain boats can be moved for unloading. Strong backs and willing hands cut through nature's wonders to fill the elevators along the lakefront, a part of Canada's granary. After the ice is cut, it's hauled up a ramp into a truck. The remaining cuts are maneuvered for easy unloading of the ships. Who says that ice isn't a big business? In the summer, like the winter, the music of industry can be heard in Huron. A busy place like Sky Harbor, even in days of peace, bustling with airplanes, the roar of their motors over the lake. Sky Harbor is remembered by many airmen. You know that place just outside of Goderich. Training days and days of fun, too, beside the shores of blue Lake Huron. The music of the days of war is now changed to the more soothing days of peace. But Sky Harbor is still a vital part of Huron, and the planes still take off on a warm summer's day. Man-made birds dipping their wings as if in salute. Airplanes have become part and parcel of the county scene. Almost any good day during the warmer months, the boys and girls from all over the county are taking to the air. Another advancement that blends with the other strides forward in the matter of farming science and modern book distribution. All these go hand in hand. This is Huron County, with its fine herds, well-tended barns, and treed lanes. The friendly handshake is part of this, too, part of the homey spirit of happy people. It's reflected in their stock. The horses are plump, good beasts. The chickens are well fed under good conditions. And the trees play an important part in Huron's life and economy. Reforestation is an old story here ever since 1923. Huron County is a busy county, especially when there is haying to be done. All available help is needed. This is the important feed for Huron's great cattle herd. Huron is mechanized, too, to bring the crops in with more speed, cheating the weather sometimes of its prey, lightening the burden of agriculture. The fine highways throughout Huron also make for better farming, because this waving field of wheat can be moved out to market along highways and county roads. And this is Port Albert, where such prominent farmers as the Albert McGees and the Wilma Culberts live. Port Albert is an old RAF station. Mr. McGee is a good farmer, a happy farmer with good lands and good herds, and he takes a keen interest in the world around him, things far divorced from fields and fences. His baby beef are his pride and joy. But the picture wouldn't be complete without the smaller animals, the geese, ducks, and hens, the things we look for in a farm scene. Right near Albert McGee's farm is the farm of William Culbert, and sturdy, stocky shorthorns are the order of the day. There is much more to farming than the showing of fine cattle, and baling hay is one of these necessary jobs. Hay for the shorthorns. Mr. Culbert is the largest breeder of shorthorns in the county. The history of this proud strain goes back many years to Scotland and a man named Cruikshank. They were bred and still are being bred for their hide beef production. And the horses are fine at the Culbert place too. There are many curious forms of locomotion these days, but here is something just a bit novel. One of the pinpoints on the map of Huron come to life is Dungannon. The old grist mill since pioneer days still stands along the 9-mile river, winding down in the valley. Source of little now, but memories. Our truck is going to visit this rural library. And when it stops, the librarian and her family will search eagerly among the shelves. In each library, the librarian chooses a book for the next 3-month period to be kept in her possession for that time. There is a curious fact about this library. It's housed in a barber shop. It's an attractive place as the village itself. Barbers will talk, and sometimes the talk turns to books, which is a natural adjunct to the work done here. The library part is a busy place. It's spotlessly clean and homey. It has an atmosphere of a story out of legend. What strikes you first and foremost is the easy grace and informality of the whole proceedings. From the entrance to the selection of books, into the marking and departure, there is an atmosphere hard to achieve under more formal conditions. People of all ages come here to seek out their magic carpet, the magic carpet of reading good books. The informality makes the trip so much more pleasant, even though much work has to be done in the process. In any case, no bell rings at 9 sharp, and no lights go out, leaving you groping in darkness to the street. It creates a kind of easy informality in the way that natural things ought to. St. Helens is another easygoing village in the gentle Huron Hills. The library at St. Helens is the corner general store. It is also the home of prominent farmer Frank Todd, breeder of the Black Aberdeen Angus, another of the strains of premier beef cattle for which the county is justly famous. Frank Todd is a great competitor, too, with his herd, and the judges often hear from Frank at the Canadian National Exhibition. The variety in Huron is endless. Huron County is mostly rural. The gray veins of highways, the little roads, link villages like Auburn, and its public library is serviced by books on wheels. And the story is the same here as elsewhere around the circuit. Story of thrifty people like the Sturdys and the McMichaels. Harry Sturdy, former president of the Huron Federation of Agriculture, loves his beautiful Belgians, a team of beauty and durability. Tom McMichael lives across the road from the Sturdys, and the horses and their colts are a prominent part of rural Huron. Here is another future match team. Tom McMichael likes his horses. Blythe is another of the agricultural villages of Huron, with experienced farmers such as the Henrys, the Wallaces, and the Websters. The versatility of the farming becomes all the more noticeable when you visit these three farms. The W.H. Henry farm has its Jersey herd, 65 head of purebred stock, 30 cows, and the rest heifers. The product of hard toil is the story of these farms. Here is a beautiful lady from this herd. The largest turkey ranch in the county also is near Blythe. The gobblers that will someday grace the festive table are at Wallace's. Wallace's Turkey Ranch also serves the dual purpose of a hatchery, where turkeys must be raised under ideal conditions. Good management makes it easy to raise turkeys. Modern methods of confinement away from contamination, with pens raised on wire. At the Keith Webster place, the scene changes again to his herd of red and white. The dairy air shears, 50 head of excellent dairy cattle. The fields of the county are dotted with large herds of good stock, milk producers, and beef producers. Fine fields of grain tie our scene together, and the voice of Huron is there too. The voice of Huron is a clear voice, telling a story of Huron and telling a story to Huron. From the transmitter to the town, which is the nerve center of information, farm facts and services are gathered and garnished by the human voice. The town of Wingham itself is a shopping center, also housing radio station CKNX. Here again are willing hands to do the work, perpetuating the vision of Doc Cruikshank, who started this great enterprise, a man who believed in the future. Wingham's Town Hall is also the library. Community halls also serve as library centers. Into large towns and small towns in the county, our mobile unit goes. It is a matter of much anticipation whether in Ethel or Goderich. Ethel is rebuilding their library for the work to be done in the future. At Ethel, you can't see the blue of the lake, but you can see small streams and friendly fields, fields that must be nurtured and gathered in at the harvest. On the boundary between Morris and Gray Townships is the town of Brussels, and it boasts one of the finer libraries in the county, built of sturdy red brick. And the people are as sturdy too. Many of the forebears of these industrious people came from Scotland, so it's not surprising at a farm you may see the rugged Highland cattle, like on the farm of Dr. Jim Anderson. Besides looking after veterinary needs, Jim finds time to do quite a bit of farming himself. Well, it seems that pigs is pigs at Bill Turnbull's farm. Mr. Turnbull takes a fancy to the stout-sided Yorkshires. These are prize animals with a famous Wiltshire side, bacon at its best. The little pigs are happy right now with their mother, but soon enough, they'll wind up as bacon too. Harvey Johnson is a farmer who believes that the building should match the herd. If the herd is good enough, Harvey believes that the building should go with it. It's a sign of a good and progressive farmer. The children of Walton, at the crossroads of 4 townships, are glad to see our mobile library. Someday it will mean more to them than just pictures, but this is the start of all things. Walton is proud of its library. And it seems that you're never too young to learn. Green and verdant pastures feed Bob McKercher's herd of cattle. Feeder cattle by the hundred dot the landscape of Huron, adding to the quiet pastoral scene of acres stretching to the sky. Bob McKercher of near Seaforth has 100 head of these fine feeders. Many of these Herefords are bred in the West, where they're hardy range cattle, and then shipped to the East to be fattened. Mr. McKercher has had this fine strain of Herefords in the family for many years. Seaforth is another town with deep Scotch roots, the crossroads of farm and field in a busy town. The center of the meeting of the clans is a public library, a handsome building, which fits into the neatness of the town itself. Have you ever been in a Huron town? Well, if the day isn't too good for working in the fields, the men and women who till the fields and make things grow come into town for their fine stores and homes. They most certainly visit the library, and when the business is done, or even while going on, this building is a social center where news is swapped, the time of the day recognized and acknowledged. The course is swift and sure. And then it's out into the street again, and the commerce of the day. The news will keep for another time. We must be up and doing. Jim Scott has a big farm to work. And this year the corn was as high as an elephant's eye. It was green banners waving with tassel tops. Along the fields and fences of the Scott farm, you can see over 60 head of Dual Shorthorns raised on the Scott farm for beef and dairy production. This handsome Irish bull is the pride of the herd. Mr. Scott imported him from the old sod to strengthen his line of purebred. While no scene of mixed farming would be complete without the inclusion of the many hundreds of laying hens, and it keeps the Scott family busy with the feed alone. There is a symphony of green and white at Hughills between Clinton and Seaforth. A well-kept farm is a good farm, as we have surmised, and Jonathan Hugill is a good farmer. The golden grain adds a final touch of majesty to the scene. Science goes hand in hand with agriculture here, not only with a modern binder, but Mr. Hugill is growing Clinton oats, a new rust-resistant variety. In another village, another corner store serves as the library center. This is a prelude to friendliness and neighborliness, because a threshing is in the offing. There is no other time, with the exception of Christmas perhaps, when the neighbors along the line get together. It's plenty of hard work, of course, but it's fun, too. It's cooperation that does it, and the day is topped off with a hearty meal and steaming pies. Sheep raising is another highly important part of the county's agriculture. The lordly qualities of the Leicester breed on the Ephraim Snell farm can be seen, heads erect, bearing distinct. A scene of peacefulness on a drowsy afternoon. In such fine home surroundings, farmers gather on a winter's evening in their farm forum groups in cooperation with the CBC. Reading material supplied by the county library is often used. Another one of Huron's fine public libraries is in the town of Exeter. One of the leading industries of this center is the canning, the goods of the earth processed for winter. From such a farm as this comes the goods to be processed. This is the farm of Milo Snell near Exeter on Main No. 4 highway from London. Centralia, switching from war to peacetime activity, has a new library. And the next Mountie is a librarian here. The aim of the library is a shelf of books within the reach of every man, woman, and child in Huron. On the way to Kirkton, you can't miss Hugh Berry's White Horses. Kirkton is nestled in the southeast corner of the county, and there the library goes too. Books for the people of every age. You know them as your neighbors, and the people of Kirkton are real neighbors. They're ready to cooperate, and you're a stranger in Kirkton only once. They are the people with a helping hand for everybody. The sturdy home on the Huron Road is as old as the road itself. For 116 years, it has been surveying the rich land. This was the first home built between Goderich and London. And even today, an odd piece of original furniture is inside this venerable home. A little lake is the prelude to Hugh Hill's farm. This is where you'll see the golden Guernsey, beauty and utility combined in one herd. The Guernsey is noted for milk with high butterfat content, and Hugh is very proud of his golden strain. Mr. Hill is another of the farmers that Huron can be proud of. So far, we've shown you many means of locomotion on the farm, and this one is right up to date. The combine, a machine of many operations in one, is doing the bulk of the work on this farm. But the combine isn't the only modern piece of farm machinery. The trucks are out in full force, even to the war surplus Jeep. This saves a lot of wear and tear on your back, and it speeds up the operation to a point of greater efficiency. This is a familiar scene on a Huron farm. But with all the mechanization, you know, it's still hard to replace Old Faithful. Holsteins are another part of this complete picture of Huron, and from books which are found in the libraries of the county, many of the advancements in proper farming methods and procedure have been recognized. On the Bissett farm, these black and white milk producers range free to absorb the sun and the grass that grows lush in the countryside. Bissett's Holsteins contribute to the economy of the county with their cream and butter, and their Bissett's ice cream is a Huron standby. Milking time on the farm is a time of sweet contentment. It's a lazy time before the work. But the work has been cut considerably by the installation of modern milking machines. The Sully home is on the Bayfield Road, and this former high-ranking officer of the RCAF has worked wonders with his farms. The leading strain on the Sully farm is a Hereford, a prominent stock in the county. So you see that the British Isles are well represented in the cattle breeds here. The dual Shorthorn from Ireland, the Highland cattle and the Scotch Shorthorn from Scotland, and the Hereford from England. And you can see that the Hereford strain will be perpetuated for some time to come, for the calves are as robust as their mothers. There are many fine homes in Huron, and consequently many fine schools. Schoolrooms take the bulk of the books. Schoolrooms in township school areas throughout the county are serviced through the secretary of the local school board. Each secretary is supplied with books for each schoolroom in the township for the season. They're still using the horse and buggy at times in McKillop. This is schoolhouse number 12 of McKillop, one of the little red schoolhouses of Huron. Here again the children are eager, and the wonderland of books and what they mean is open to them. There is plenty of scope here for the smaller minds, and McKillop is thankful for this service. Since highways are the means of trade and commerce almost solely in the rural areas, they must be kept in shape, and the county road graders bear the brunt of this. There are also important personalities connected with the cultural life of the county. One of the most prominent we know is Mr. Gavin Green, whose home is in Godrich. Mr. Green, besides tending his wealth of floral beauty, acts as sort of unofficial historian for the sections of the county he knows so well. You might remember the old school, and his most recent addition is the old log house, both recounting bits of pioneer Huronia. Mr. Green is still very much aware of the pioneering spirit, and he aims to write about it. The county town and the headquarters of our mobile library is Godrich, lying along the shores of Lake Huron. It is a pretty town with its impressive courthouse and county building. The square houses this courthouse and has done so for almost a century. The Godrich Post Office is also a very fine building, representing more or less the architecture of the town itself. Harbor Park is one of the stellar tourist attractions in the town, and as in everything, youth must be served, for it is playtime in Godrich. The children of the county are carefree as they should be, but in their serious moments, children learn more from the books they read than anything else. And while the beach is a great attraction, the plan of the town itself is interesting to note. It's a cartwheel with the streets running out from the hub of the wheel as spokes. It is a simple matter of pleasure on a warm summer's day to go for a swim or lounge in a boat. There is also the time for thoughts of the future, the fuller life. And the fuller life is made up primarily of the many good things you read. It is the time for reflection, the time for the nurturing of noble thoughts and instincts, for learning about the world around us, for knowing each other better than we do. Play is made up of many little things, but learning to live is the knowledge of good books, where horizons are limitless. Your mobile library is endeavoring to put a shelf of books within the reach of every man, woman, and child in Huron County. And so back home we go. But our work is not completed. Like the sunset, the dawn will come tomorrow.